Jungkook POV. We stared at each other for what felt like an eternity. He was most likely waiting for me to continue the conversation. You shouldn't have done that, I said, breaking the silence. Because I don't want it. I already accepted living with you. But what I didn't accept is you offering to buy me new stuff. Do you know why? It's because I don't want your corrupt money to go towards anything that has to do with me. I didn't even realize that I had cornered him until I felt his fingers gently pulling on a few locks of my hair. I swallowed anxiously, weighing the chance to take a step back. But he slid an arm around my waist, pulling me closer. What do you have in mind, Jungkook? He asked softly, his attention still on the strands of hair he was playing with. I'll find a new job, and I'll leave soon. I have to make it in time for class to take my test. You think I'm going to allow you to travel 3 hours across town to that kind of neighborhood? And to a school you didn't even want to attend? His voice no longer had that soft, sleep-inducing tone. It had turned firm and commanding. You're going to stay here where it's safe. You're not going to find a new job. Like I told you before, you now own that building that my men are upgrading. The rent will increase, and all the money will go into a bank account for you. You'll use that to attend school online and do whatever your heart desires. I pulled away from him. Why are you doing this? What do you want from me? I've been living in that apartment for almost 2 years. I've worked at that restaurant for a long time and have only 2 terms left at that school. So why do you want to change my life so abruptly? He looked away from me as if he was trying to figure it out himself. I just want to make it better, Jungkook. That day when we first met, and that asshole spoke to you like that. I wanted nothing more than to rip his tongue out with my bare hands. And that wife of his, stealing from you like that. He cut my cheeks, his touch gentle yet firm. I just want to make it all better, he whispered, his voice barely above a breath. Please, Jungkook, let me take care of you. I stared into his eyes, trying to read the layers of their warm hazel glow. But why, Taehyung? I asked quietly, barely trusting my own voice. Why me? His eyes softened, lighting up like fireworks. I saw something in them I couldn't name. Hope, maybe. Or something even more dangerous. Why not you, Jungkook? Before I had the chance to tell him that what he said still didn't make sense in my head, he leaned down and kissed my cheek. Get ready and come down for breakfast. With that said, he left me confused and bothered as my pulse skyrocketed. A few minutes later, after almost flooding the bathroom and nearly breaking the stylish faucet, I dried myself off and put on a pair of jeans with rips at the knees and a simple shirt. I decided to wear my socks since I didn't want to dirty the floor with the only pair of shoes I owned. After about 5 minutes of searching, I found the kitchen. The large house was elegantly designed. It had a feminine touch that made me wonder who had chosen all this decor. Hey there! Someone spoke behind me before throwing an arm around my shoulder. I see my brother didn't stop until you came with him, Yu-gyum said. Yeah, he's very persuasive, I replied awkwardly, as Yu-gyum and I walked into the kitchen, where Taehyung was sitting, playing on his phone. He didn't even acknowledge our presence until Yu-gyum cleared his throat, still with his arm around my shoulder. Taehyung's eyes zoomed in on that. He got up from his seat, walked toward us, and when he was just a foot away, he took my hand and pulled me away from his brother, who began to chuckle. Asshole, Yu-gyum muttered, moving over to the cupboard and grabbing the ingredients for cereal. Takes one to know one, Taehyung spit back. Yu-gyum ignored him and sat down across the table. So tell me, Jungkook, How old are you? Yu asked. There's plenty of food in the refrigerator and cupboards, babe. Taehyung interrupted before I could answer. Just make whatever you want. I'd do it myself, but I know you still don't trust me. I gave him a small smile and moved away to get to the cupboards. I was nervous. I'd never been in the same room with two handsome men treating me like a human being instead of tossing me aside or using me as a punching bag. I'm 20, I finally said. I decided to make Fruit Loops for Taehyung and me since there was no oatmeal. I didn't know if he had already eaten, and I wasn't going to ask. You're 1 year older than me, and that idiot's 23, Yu remarked. I placed a bowl in front of Taehyung, who was busy having a glare contest with his brother. His eyes flicked down to the bowl before meeting mine. Yu too was staring at me before he cleared his throat and shoved a spoonful of cornflakes into his mouth. That's kind of my way of saying thank you, Taehyung said. But if you don't eat it, that's completely fine. I'll eat it. Better than you throwing it out. I didn't want him to think I was someone who ate non-stop, and at the same time, I hated even the thought of wasting food. A smile crept across his face as Yu ignored us, still eating. Thank you, Jungkook, Taehyung added. I nodded shyly, returning his smile before sitting next to him. How about I give you a tour once you're finished? Yu asked after finishing his cereal. I glanced at Taehyung. I didn't mean to, but I knew he didn't like me hanging around his brother. Before I could answer, Taehyung spoke without looking at us. That would be a good idea, 'cause I have places I need to be. I sat on the couch to watch a movie while Taehyung threw on a navy blue jacket. Before he could catch me staring, I looked toward the living room entrance. I heard him chuckle, and my heart skipped a beat, knowing I'd been caught. He walked over, snaked his arm around my waist, and kissed my forehead. My eyes closed like it was a reflex. When I opened them, he was looking at me with an expression I couldn't quite explain. Just then, Yu walked in. He was supposed to give me the tour, but had gone to retrieve a key from his room. Take care of him, bro, Taehyung told him before releasing me and grabbing his car keys from the key holder. No need to tell me twice, Yu smirked, then threw an arm around my shoulder much like earlier. Taehyung glared at him before his eyes met mine. I won't be long, Jungkook. I nodded. An hour later, maybe less. Yu had shown me all 25 bedrooms, minus the one I was staying in, which I thought was unnecessary. 2 of those were his and Taehyung's. Just stay here in case of emergencies, he had said. The house was the most beautiful I had ever seen. There was a game room, 2 kitchens, and 2 living rooms. I begged him not to show me where all the other bathrooms were. I already had 1 in my room. Why would I need to see more? Who needs that many bathrooms, kitchens, and living rooms anyway? The decor was breathtaking. Yu said they'd hired an interior designer. Next to the main house was a smaller one, the workers' quarters. It was simple but cute, and it made me wish I could stay there instead of the mansion. They had a large pool, a basketball court, and a tennis court. The key Yu retrieved was for a gate that led to a sanctuary. I remembered our conversation and how sad he sounded while talking about the lilies, roses, and other flowers. I didn't know why. Maybe it was because of his past. Anyway, everything around us was so beautiful. My mom liked to plant flowers, he said. She taught me how to do it myself and how to take care of them. His voice gave away that his mom was no longer in the picture. I didn't want to make him sad, so I didn't comment. They're beautiful. Is this also a hobby of Taehyung's? I asked. Yugyeom turned to me with a smirk that made me look away nervously. Not at all, bro. He has completely different hobbies. If you like it so much, I promise to make one for you when you own a house. The bro part made me look at him. He was busy admiring the flowers. Did he see me as a brother? I'd always wanted a brother.